Hello and good morning, everyone, and welcome back to AstroBeauty for the full moon in Aries. That's right, we're halfway through the new moon and Libra cycle. And where does that leave us? Oh, it brings us to the full moon, the time of the month when the energies from the new moon from the beginning of the month have reached their fullest potential, maximum expansion, maximum energetic pressure and expansion, and then they shine and then they are released through the course of the next couple weeks as the moon wanes out to the dark moon and a new moon grows. So, for today, we are going to talk all about the new moon in Aries. And I am today going to do my full makeup with you guys. I'm doing a pretty simple eye look today for Aries. And so I kind of just want to do my full makeup, put it all on while I talk about the full moon in Aries this month because let me tell you, this is this is kind of crazy. Every single planet is an aspect. I actually kept going back over and over to check the degrees because I was like, this can't be right. This can't be right. There's no way this is right. But I think it is right. So we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to do my Aries makeup, put together a full moon look for today, and yeah, so let's just go ahead and get to it and minimize my talking time because it's Aries, so we need to get through this quickly. Okay. All right, so let's get started. So first off, just to cover the basics, the moon is in Aries, and when the moon is in Aries, I always like to stay kind of like casual, a little more sporty. I never really like to get super dressed up or frilly or pretty, so that's what we're working with today. And I'm wearing white because it's a full moon, and I'm wearing red stripes because the moon is in Aries. And this shirt is like my quintessential Aries moon. I love wearing this shirt when the full moon is in Aries, or just like shirts like it because it makes me feel like moony and Aries-y. Okay, so let's get into it because you guys, I don't even know what to say. I was doing the aspects, looking over the astrology, and I'm just like I knew because I thought that, I knew because at the new moon, it was like the Libra cycle, it was so big. This is my all natural face vegan foundation primer. I really love this stuff. It's like silk. It feels so good and it goes on really well. And this is just what I've been using for a primer. And it's been doing well. Hey guys, somebody's joining us today. I have a visitor in the form of a giant pimple on my chin. It's been some stress lately, but we're just gonna have to try our best to make him feel comfortable. Anyways, so I'm just gonna get my face primed and start right in with astrology because I'm still trying not to take forever, even though I am gonna do all my makeup today. I'm doing a really simple eye look, nothing too crazy for Aries. All right, and then I have this cherry matte primer that I also like to use, honestly, just because I like the way it feels. And I only put it on a couple places. I only use a tiny bit, but I just it's got more of I don't know, sticky, tacky, I guess, but it's not those things. But I just feel under my eyes and between my brows for some reason, I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken, but I'm just drawn to put it there for some reason. I don't know. It also holds my brows pretty well. I like it. And then I guess I'll just finish doing this, telling you guys what I'm doing so that once I start talking, I can start talking. This is the foundation that I've been using. It's from the All Natural Face also. I love the formula of this. It's really light and I don't know, I really, it's really, really great, except for I got the wrong color. It's just totally the wrong color for me, so I have to mix it with this other, I've been using this a light clean foundation from Pacifica. And the color, I don't really like the formula of this. It's just too thick. I don't know. It's a satin finish. It's just not like my thing, I guess. But hold on, I'm just trying to find my brush. So I really only use like a little teeny tiny bit of this just to like add some coolness and darkness to my foundation. Like I put that much on, and that's honestly probably more than I want. All right, and then I'm just going to mix these together and start painting them on my face. And then I guess I'll do my brows after, since I've already started doing this. But let's start talking about the astrology, you guys, because this is a big moon. I mean, this is the last cardinal cycle before the conjunction in January between Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. And it's like literally every single planet is aspecting somehow. Like I wrote on my planets and I'm like going through the aspects and I'm like, oh, these two, these three, like everything is aspecting. And so let's stop talking about it and just start talking about like it. All right. So I wrote down a list of things that I want to say about the full moon, and I have 7 things that I want to say. And so let's just start going down my list while I'm doing my makeup. But yeah, like once I mix these two together, it really comes to like the perfect color for me. All right. So number 1, we know because we're in the Libra cycle that things that happen in Libra are in square to all of, or an aspect to all of the other cardinal signs. I'm going to have to go in with a tiny bit of my concealer over our friend here. Yes. And so the first thing that we need to say is that the full moon, as the new moon was, the full moon is going to be in square to the Saturn-Pluto South Node situation, okay, that's going on in Capricorn because Libra is square to Capricorn. That being said, there's one of those planets that is in very close aspect to the degree of the full moon, which is at, I believe, 20 degrees of 20 degrees of Libra and Aries. All right, now I'm just going to kind of pat this in, and then I will move on and do start my contour. Actually, I'm going to do my brows first. So, all right, I've said a whole bunch of nothing so far. Pluto right now is at 21 degrees of Capricorn. So that means when the full moon happens, even though, and Saturn is at 15 degrees, and the full moon is at 20 degrees, I believe, or 21, one of those. So when the full moon happens, it is going to be in square, basically exactly with Pluto. All right. So yes, it is in square, you know, with that whole sort of spaced out now conjunction over there. However, it is going to be in a near exact square with Pluto. Now, this is my Maybelline Tattoo Studio brow tint pen. It's like, I don't know, I like it. Something about it. Pencils, I like pencils, but I feel like they don't quite stay in place sometimes as much as I want them to. And today, I want more of kind of like a defined brow, so I'm going to like outline with this, and then I might fill in with my pencil after. But I've actually been using these for like a long time, and I just can't seem to pull myself away. I know like they're not like tons of people don't like love them and rave about them and stuff, but I don't know. For some reason, for me, it's just seems to be a good thing. Okay, so yes, we have the full moon in square to Pluto. And Pluto rules, you know, the underworld, things under the surface, like what nobody really wants to sort of like look at, the depths, things that are hidden, things that happen like under the cover of darkness, like the more, you know, the depths. And also like purging, transforming, like on the deepest core level things. And so at the full moon, the time when the energy from the beginning of the month has been brought to its fullest opportunity to manifest and expand, we have the exact square, which is, you know, a tense tension that causes change happening with the Lord of the Underworld, the great purger, the great transformer. So, and the full moon shines light, brings awareness. So to me, that says first and foremost that there could be changes that happen during this full moon that sort of bring awareness to, shine a full light on, maybe things that have been hidden under the surface, like root causes, root issues that need to be like purged, changed, transformed, stuff like that. So that is significant, all right? Pluto there in square to the full moon during this Libra cycle. Now I like to take some of my powder and outline my brows above and under, just because I feel like it just makes them look so much neater. I've been doing this for a really long time, and I just, like, it'll blend out later, but I don't know, I feel like it just helps me keep my brows more neat. So that to me, you know, is very telling about the nature of, you know, or the purpose, the potential of this moon and this cycle. Because the energetics at the new moon, you know, to me, it was helping us heal, basically. Like a lot of energy for helping us, like a lot of divine assistance to kind of like counter the darkness within us that may be lingering, that we're unaware of, that's holding us back. Like generally, I feel like there was a lot of energy supporting sort of like that type of thing at the new moon. And now we're having the full moon in nearly, if not exact, square to Pluto, who goes to the root, goes to the depth, bring everything down, stuck in the mud, like up to the surface so that it can be, you know, like seen, brought awareness to shine a light on with the full moon. So there's that. Now, you guys, first I should also say, besides the fact that I'm a natural makeup channel and that everything I use is basically all natural because I don't like putting chemicals on my skin and body, because if there's any way I can avoid polluting myself, I generally try to do so, especially if there's really great alternatives, and that's what I try to do, is find really great alternatives. But what I was going to say before I got on my natural makeup tangent, was, oh yes, now I'm going to take my e.l.f. pencil. These are supposedly the best, most popular brow pencils in the world. I don't know. It's all right. It's okay. I just have it, so I use it from time to time. I, here at AstroBeauty, tend to have a problem with, like, perpetual optimism Like, it's just something. Like, I have, like, I guess a lot of planets in the ninth house, and sometimes it seems like no matter what happens, I just can't stop being positive. And sometimes I'm sure it's very annoying to a lot of people. But, I just, like, I don't know. I have to see, like, I have to try to see things from a positive perspective. So just realize, like, that's where I'm coming from this. And, like, heads up to everybody out there, because this full moon could get real crazy. Like, no doubt. And, you know, there's more to it than what I'm actually going to talk about, because I can only fit so much, and, you know, it's a lot. Astrology is really in depth. But because of the degree placement of the full moon and different just like frequencies that are being activated, like, people are likely to be like real, I don't know, out of control, like real, I don't know, just like on one. So just maybe keep that in mind as you go for this weekend. But as I talk about this, I'm really going to try to, you know, see things from a perspective of optimism. And there's a lot of Jupiter involved in this. So that is helping us. Jupiter is like a planet of optimism. All right, so now I'm going to do my contour. I've been using, I really want a good all natural stick so that I can just be like joop, 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 instead of having to go in here and like dig out product. But this, I really do like this though. It's the cream foundation from the All Natural Face, and it's really, I like it. I like it. So I'm going to use this. All right. So moving on. We have that Pluto square. And so like this full moon is really trying to clear us out. And so we'll leave that there for now. Next, the full moon, and this goes back to my little spiel on optimism, is both in trine and sextile to Jupiter at the time of the full moon. Now, Jupiter is the planet that expands things. I mean, Jupiter does a lot of things, but is generally known to expand things, like in big ways. Jupiter expands things in big ways. That's a good descriptive for Jupiter. But it's making really like assisting nice aspects. The sun is in Libra, the moon is in Aries, Jupiter is in Sagittarius. And it's exact. Like, it's like 21 degrees, like right during that time period of that day, which is the same degree as Pluto, the same degree as the sun and the moon. So we have trines and sextiles. Sextile the sun, trining the moon. So that means that all these energetics are going to be greatly expanded, okay? Enhanced, all things expanded, and like a full view of all perspectives, sort of. Because it's the sun and it's the moon. And it's the full moon, and it's Jupiter in sextile to the sun and in trine to the moon. And let's also not forget that meanwhile, Jupiter is also holding a square with the black moon, who is now at 19 degrees of Pisces. 19, 20, 21, that's basically the same thing. So all the while that Jupiter is expanding the energetics, the dynamics, everything that is going on and in place during the full moon, bringing the height of essentially potential from the beginning of the Libra cycle, the new moon in Libra, it's also working with the black moon to create changes to help us clear out our shadows and our like more subconscious traumas and issues. So there's like, and that it's an assisting aspect because it's trines. These things are very important and they're very much assisting us with the changes that are happening. Like there needs to be an expansion of this right now so that apparently we can all get it somehow. All right, now I'm going to just use my sponge and like pat this in a little bit. And then I'm going to do some of my like chin and stuff like that. All right, so there's that. So we have Pluto in square to the whole thing, which is gonna bring stuff up from the depths that create changes somehow. And we have Jupiter at the same degrees in Sagittarius, expanding. This is my butter bronzer. I use this all the time, just like on my neck and chin, because I just feel like it does the trick and it's what I want. I'm actually going to use a different brush to put this on. So, yeah, we got Pluto in the mix, bringing up the mud, and then we got Jupiter in the mix, expanding it. Okay? So, that's like an expansion of acknowledgement of the underbelly of things, potentially. Or just things we don't want to look at, or things we've been denying, or things we've been like sticking our head in the mud about. Maybe. And I am just going to be careful not to get this on my white Aries moon shirt. Next. All right, now let's get into, there's just so many interesting aspects going on. Astrology is just, it's really like the coolest thing ever. And I kid you not, like every single planet is making an aspect somehow. All right, let's get on to the next series of planets making aspects. And this will kind of like bring some more dimension to our little picture here. And as we do that, I'm going to do some concealer. I've been using this, my Burt's Bees All Glow highlighter, as just like my highlight right here instead of putting my concealer all the way up there, because I realized this is really just all that I need right here. So that's what I've been doing. So that's what I'm doing with that. I like these. Okay. Now this is my Pacifica Liquid Cover Full Coverage Long Lasting Concealer. I really love this stuff. It works really well. All right, so the next thing, new moon. We're in the Libra cycle, remember. So Venus is basically like the ruler of this entire period of time. And so it's important to know what she's doing during the full moon. And what she's doing happens to be exactly opposing our friend Uranus. Shocks, surprises, accidents, things happening out of nowhere. The last thing you may have ever expected, but ends up being the best thing that could have happened type deal. That. So Venus has a lot to do with like money and finances and stuff like that. The finer things, Venus. And we have to remember Uranus right now, the position of the sky where he's at is called the Chiron point, where Chiron was discovered, who's like the wounded healer, like master teacher frequency energy. And Chiron also has quite a bit to do with finances and money. And I feel like with Uranus there, and Venus there, that there could be some big shakeups with like money or relationships somehow, collectively, partnerships, or individually, you know. And everybody, like, it depends what personal transits you have going on to know if these things, you know, how significantly they'll like really affect you personally. But like on a global and like geopolitical level or whatever, like I would not be surprised to see some big things happen like with money somehow. All right. I just need a little bit more of this. And there's more. There's more. You guys, I'm trying to describe this in a way that makes sense. I don't know if I do a good job or not, but all right, let me just keep going. So we know that the ruler of this cycle is with Uranus. So that they're like, to me, it's like, okay, so we are in for some type of, I mean, it's Venus, the ruler of this cycle during her full moon, her largest, most exhibiting potential point in time. So to me, it's like, this cycle is about shocks and surprises, because there she is in all of her glory across from, and Uranus also brings, sorry, I have to go like this so I don't have a line down here. Uranus also brings the future. And with Venus there, I'm just like, this cycle is about setting us on the path for where we need to be. Uranus is setting things right in this Libra cycle during the full moon. Square Pluto, trine Jupiter. And we're not finished yet. Let's keep going. So just to sort of like put the exclamation point on this for me, enter Mars. Oh, and I must say that the degrees for Venus and Uranus are 6. 6 Scorpio, 6 Taurus. Those are oppositions. And let's talk about Mars now. Mars is also at 6 degrees. 6 degrees of what, you say? 6 degrees of Libra, which is ruled by who? Venus. And who is ruled by Taurus? Venus. And Libra and Venus are in a 72-degree aspect from each other called a quintile. It's like a 5th harmonic aspect. And to me, it's like a degree of like divine assistance and blessings. So, and Mars at 6 Libra is also opposite Chiron, who is at 3 Aries right now. And it's, you know, it's not an exact opposition, but it was Mars conjunct, or Mars opposed Chiron and has been moving away, but 3-degree orb, 3 degrees from each other is still considered a conjunction. And at that 6 degrees, he's also making the quintile to Uranus at the Chiron point, who's opposing Venus during her cycle. So, if I were an astrologer and a makeup person who had a channel called AstroBeauty, I would probably say that we are in for, the stick I want is in my bag. I would probably say that Mars is adding action and fire and initiative and will to that Venus-Uranus opposition. So for my cheek base today, I'm going to use this, my favorite all glow stick from Burt's Bees in the color Sands. And I'm just going to lay a little bit of this down right here to get started. All right, so moving on. We've talked about Venus opposite Uranus. we've talked about Mars in aspect to those opposite Chiron. So yeah, also it's more like financial trigger, like financial, like potential for like financial stuff, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so like I said, because Mars is there, I do feel like this action, like it's like action that is setting things right. Like there's action geared towards like Uranus, which sets things right, in Venus during her cycle, during the full moon, the height of her cycle. And, you know, like I said last time, I feel like Mars has a good relationship with Chiron, and Mars can do positive things under the observation of Chiron when Chiron is there. I feel like it can help Mars just channel like a more masterful type of Mars frequency. So that's what I'm hoping for. And again, this is my AstroBeauty perspective, which is probably through a little bit of rose-colored glasses, just because we're trying to keep things beautiful and we're trying to paint a beautiful future. So I don't really want to really go there with the more negative end of things, but just realize that everything is a polarity, you know. All right, so that's basically the face. Let me throw some powder and some bronzer on. Today for my bronzer, I think I'm going to use my butter bronzer all over, actually. Yes. And then after this, I will start my eye look. So moving on, next, I have written down number 5. Mercury, 13 degrees Scorpio. The nodes, 13 degrees Cancer, Capricorn. So what does that mean? Well, to me, it means the messenger, Mercury, bringer of information, like knowledge, learning, and generally just messages, is in a trine, which again is that positive, helpful, like beneficial, assisting aspect with the destiny point, our north node, where we're going after all of this, which is in Cancer. And to me, that has a lot to do with our capacity to like be whole and integrated humans who are capable of caring for and nurturing themselves, and therefore like extrapolating that out and creating a much more balanced world. I don't know. It's just a theory. But with Mercury there in trine to the north node, so that means Mercury is bringing messages about the future, where we're going, our destiny, information about that type of stuff. And in sextile, because a sextile is you skip a sign, it's every 2 signs, and Mercury is Scorpio, so then Sag, Capricorn, where the south node is, and sextile to the south node. So the messenger is bringing information regarding the past and the future. Being more specific than that, I'm not exactly sure right now. But for sure, it seems like information and messages coming our way about the past and the future. Ooh, darn it. All right, I need to do my nose contour. I'm just going to use some more of this because it seems pretty easily spreadable, and yeah. I mean, I say it seems like I don't use it every day. I don't know why I said that, actually. It is. So, all right, yeah. And it's also like maybe like applying like what we've learned or learning about the past, like and applying it to the future, or like, yeah, like using past lessons and applying it to the future, messages, information somehow about like things like that during the full moon. And it's just interesting because simultaneously there's this aspect with Pluto bringing things up, shining full light, bringing awareness to the underbelly, the darker side of things. Meanwhile, Mercury is an exact aspect with the nodes, the messenger, the past and the future, you know, like what we need to let go to and where we're going to. So there's that. There's that. Wouldn't be surprised. And, you know, with all the Uranus in aspect to Venus, the ruler of this cycle, man, it's going to be interesting, I think. Moving on. Number 6. I kind of already touched on this, but it needs to be noted in and of its own accord. The black moon, who is now at 19 Pisces, is a near exact square with Jupiter, who is 21 Pisces during the full moon, like, period, 24 hours. Or Sagittarius, 2021 Sagittarius. Now, this is, Jupiter and the black moon have been in square along with Neptune. Now, Neptune is still there, although they've moved to 2 degrees apart this time. Neptune is at 17 and the black moon is at 19. And the reason that I'm specifically saying the black moon right now is because Jupiter is at 21 and it's obviously much closer. Sorry, I have like a little hair from my brush. It's obviously much closer to the 21 than the 17. So I'm mainly, for this one, focusing on the black moon. And it's a square. Squares create tension that brings change. And Jupiter expands things, and the black moon is like our subconscious programming, like our shadow side, the like subconscious thought patterns that control like basically what we attract and bring into our lives without even necessarily knowing it. It's kind of where we sabotage ourselves unknowingly, our shadow. And with Neptune in Pisces, this whole time has been basically about helping all of us to come to a point where we can kind of begin to see and understand our shadow. And then it can't operate. Once you can see something, it can't really control you anymore. What if you don't know it's there, then you're just on autopilot. But when you can look at something and see it, then you can make conscious decisions and you can like be conscious, of things. And that is what, in my opinion, the black moon, Neptune, and Jupiter have been trying to do for us. And with the black moon coming to an almost exact square at this full moon, with Jupiter, who is in trine to the full moon, sextile the sun at the full moon, while the full moon is in square to Pluto. It's like, I feel like this is it. Like, this is the cycle where we have some type of breakthrough, like some type of awakening. We can see our shadow and we can Pluto, purge it, clear it out, look at the darkness, look at what we don't want to look at. Like, somehow we have the strength to do that. I don't know. Mars making that quintile to Venus, Uranus, Chiron, all of those. Now, there are going to be probably quite a large segment of the population, people generally, who have an extremely, extremely hard time and like with this dynamic, because it's really tough. And it's kind of like almost like if you aren't sort of paying attention, or if you aren't like more tuned into yourself and who you are and like your like authenticity as a person, it can be, the other side of Neptune is like escapism, avoidance, like lack of clarity, confusion, disorientation, disillusionment, all of that stuff. So that's real too. And so a lot of people are probably going to be coming at it from that side, just chaos, confusion, strife, hopelessness, listlessness, depression. Like, that is a very possible manifestation of these dynamics as well. But there is also so much potential for like unconditional healing and like personal evolution. I'm focusing on that. Okay. So here's my, like, basically, I think I'm pretty much done with my makeup for now. I'm going to start my eye look. And then I'm just going to throw on the rest of my powder and some blush and a lip. This is where you guys usually see me. Well, here I am, back. Now, for my eye look today, like I said, I'm going super, like, minimal, sort of. I just want to do, I have this color from the All Natural Face. It's called Black Forest. It's just like a, kind of like a slate gray, just matte. And I'm just going to go all the way around my eyes with it. That's pretty much it. I am going to do a base layer of, let's see, some of this rose quartz out of my Lovestone palette. Yep. And then I think I'll use this highlight today. It's called Citrine. And let's see, it says fire is the element in Jupiter, Mars, and the sun. So I think we'll use that for our full moon today because it's a full moon in Aries. So we need Mars. And Mars is opposite Chiron and an aspect to Uranus at the Chiron point in across from Venus. There's just a lot going on. All right, so let's just do this. I'm probably taking freaking forever as per normal, but okay. Eyeshadow primer. Okay, so there's one last thing that I wanted to say that I have written down on my little list here about the energetics at the full moon. And that is this. And honestly, this is the last thing I have written down, but I do like this. I feel like it kind of just sort of like puts the exclamation point on the end of everything. It's the one aspect that I have written down that's not like exact. There's a 2-degree orb between the planets, but I find it interesting and I still like it. So I'm going to curl and talk for a minute. Now, this last thing that I want to say is that Saturn, who is a part of the South Node Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn coming in January of 2020, that, you know, we talk about and everything is like working towards that point. He is like, there is a separation between those planets now. And like I said, Pluto's at 21, Saturn's at 15, and this is Capricorn. And then we have Neptune, who is retrograding through Pisces and who is currently at 17 degrees. So we have Saturn at 15 Capricorn and we have Neptune at 17 Pisces. And again, like, there is a conjunction between Neptune and the Black Moon, 17 and 19 in Pisces. So the Black Moon is like infused in this too. But Saturn, so that makes a sextile between Saturn and Neptune, okay? And the sextile is the like assisting positive, like skip a sign, like every 2 aspect. And honestly, like, looking at the more positive spectrum of things in the context of everything that's going on, I do like this aspect. Because the sextile between like Saturn and Neptune to me sort of like helps us create form around our more spiritual ideas. Like, trying to help us manifest or bring form to like our spiritual ideals of things, like awakening or like the evolution of consciousness into the material world. So, in the context of everything that is happening and that is going on during the full moon with the energetics and with the planets, stemming from the new moon and what was going on then, it's to me about like a mass healing and a mass awakening, a mass purging of self-sabotaging issues. And it's like pulling the Band-Aid off. And like I said in my other video, like my Pisces video, like I feel like this is like a mass like catharsis, like a mass like rehab, like a mass like breaking the addiction to like what's been sustaining us and what we've been sort of like trying to like self-medicate with without even knowing that maybe we had an issue, sort of. And I know that sounds like really crazy, but it's kind of not once you really like start to see where all this is going to. And if you're paying attention like to what's happening on individual and collective levels, you know? It's interesting. So, yeah. I feel like this sextile between Saturn and Neptune, I feel like the sextile between Saturn and Neptune is basically bringing more spiritual ideals sort of into focus to see what kind of role they can play in our lives and world going forward. Like trying to, again, help us to manifest like heaven on earth, sort of like create the spiritual world and the material world. Saturn, Neptune, and sextile. And of course, there's other ways, but like in the context of everything, that's just what I think. This is it. This is Black Forest. I love this shade from the All Natural Face. And I'm going to start down here. And I'm literally just going to like go around my whole eye with this color today. And that is pretty much going to be our eye look. And that's pretty much our astrology also. That Saturn Neptune, and it's not exact yet, but it will be as Saturn moves back towards Pluto. It will they will come to exact sextile. And I like this. I like bringing form to like the spiritual world. And you know, it could go other ways, you know, like say there were forces in play that were trying to like manipulate and use the energies for more nefarious purposes. Like that's a possibility, you know, like as well. But I really think that ultimately these energetics are trying to help humanity evolve in order to be able to just be more like in control and conscious of our abilities to create in this world. I feel like for a long, long time, we've been sort of like unconsciously being led. And I feel like the transition that we're going through now is a transition from like being controlled as like a species, population, and world to being in control of ourselves, to knowing how to be creators, like on a individual level, instead of looking to others like for like safety, control, protection, sustenance, like all of that. I feel like we are going to become much more empowered within ourselves to build reality instead of just accepting the reality that's given to us, because we're operating out of so much subconscious programming that is like continually sabotaging our like abilities, that we're not, you know, reaching our like full potential or like our purpose as like our individual purposes. Everybody, you know, has a specific energetic pattern that is meant to be developed to its full capacity and potential and manifests, you know, in the world. And if we are all operating out of our highest like abilities and we are all being conscious creators, it changes the entire dynamic of the way that the world operates, like globally, not just like in this country, but like in every single country, everywhere, every person, you know? So I kind of feel like that's what this conjunction in January is trying to get us to do, or become, rather. What do you guys think? And these are like this Libra full moon, new moon cycle, I feel like are major, major. I mean, of course, it's the cardinal cycle, and it's the last cardinal cycle before the conjunction. So it's really, really, really setting the stage for us to make some major shifts, especially during this full moon. And I do feel like, you know, we might have to experience some not so pleasant things with all these squares, a lot of tension it is likely to take to get us there. But ultimately, it's what we need, because Uranus is so involved. And Uranus is right there with Chiron, the Chiron point, which is like, to me, like a master energetic, like a master frequency. It's like we're trying to become masters of ourselves instead of the subject to the rules of our masters. All right, so this is totally just my eye look for today. It is one color, and it is Black Forest. And that is just what I'm doing. That's just what I wanted. I wanted dark around my eyes, and I just wanted a simple gray for Mars, Aries, not anything too crazy. And so that is what I did. Now I need to, let's do my under eye, and then we'll do mascara and a lip and a blush and a highlight. Yeah, so like that's basically the astrology. You know, if you're an Aries, if you have your sun or your moon or your ascendant in Aries, the full moon is obviously, or Libra, there's a good chance that you personally have like some planets that are aspecting that. So that means that it'll affect you more. So, I mean, the full moon is going to affect all of us. But if you do have planets that are in aspect, it will probably be just even more so. So just something to keep in mind for you guys, especially if you have like your moon. Like it could be a very emotionally heightened couple of days. I think it's going to be for all of us because of the moon and trine to Jupiter. Like that is expanding our feelings about things. But if you personally have your moon there, that's just like even more. So yes, that's kind of like just a little blip for you, Aries, or because it's a full moon, it's like or Libra, because it's the polarity. The moon is in Aries, the sun is in Libra, and they're at the same degree. And that's what makes it a full moon. Yes. So, God, you guys, like, there's the astrology. I do, like, I mean, I feel like I've said everything pretty much that needs to be said. Every single planet, like, I wrote down the planets and I went through, and every single one is, like, involved in this somehow. We have the sun and the moon at the same degree. We have them square to Pluto. We have them in trine and sextile to Jupiter. We have Venus opposite Uranus. We have Mars opposite Chiron in aspect to Uranus, who is opposite Venus during her cycle. We have, let's do mascara now. My nose senses pleasure time of the day. We have, this is my 100% pure black green tea mascara. It is seriously my favorite mascara I've ever used. It's so good. Anyways, moving on. We have Mercury in exact aspect to the north and the south node. Messages from the past, about the future, information about the future, learning about the past in context of the future, like something like that. And because of the square to Pluto, it could be, and also Jupiter square to the black moon, it could be like information that's been hidden or under the surface, or just like not wanting to be looked at for a while. And then, like I said, we have Jupiter squaring the black moon. And that is like trying really hard to get us to clear out our shadow side issues. And then, last but not least, we have that Saturn-Neptune sextile, which let's build heaven on earth, okay? That's what I'm going with. Trying not to, that's what I'm going with. This is my 100% pure bamboo blur powder. This stuff is amazing. I'm going to dust it all over my whole face, and then I'm going to put on blush. So, yeah, like, I just truly feel right now like this is setting us up. Like, I don't know what's coming. Big things financially, it seems like. Some type of an awakening. A broadened perspective about things. Clearing out or looking at the darkness and tensions around that create changes for us. Yeah. And then Saturn and Neptune, which will be moving over the next 2 weeks into closer aspect with one another. So, heads up, I guess, is probably the best thing I can say. I think that, being aware of what's going on and trying maybe to, like, just let it, like, not be one of the people who acts on their feelings during this time. Or if you do, try to keep in mind just all of the energetics that are going on. And, like, this is probably going to be quite hard, and the tension created from the square to Pluto with the expanded emotionality coming from Jupiter, even though it is a trine, which is a positive aspect, it's still like there could be, you know, a lot of challenges over the next couple days, especially leading up to the full moon. Like Saturday, oh, and believe me, I hate to say it, Saturday, there's a potential for, you know, quite a bit of chaos, I guess you could say. People just acting erratically, out of their feelings. A lot of projection we could see also, because a lot of times what our black moon, like our shadow side, does is it keeps us from being able to see our weaknesses, or truly like being able to be like aware of, like self-awareness sort of. And people being forced to like look at their dark side, a lot of people aren't going to be able to do that, and they're going to project it outwards, and that is going to could be like manifest in like some really, really ugly behavior. So, you know, I should have done this before I put my top mascara on so that it doesn't fall on my eyelashes, but I'm going to blend out with a little bit more of this. Oh, I was using this rose quartz color from this palette. I'm just going to blend it out a little bit more up here. I love this Lovestone palette. This side has all of the like stones that the colors are named off, and it tells like their astrological and celestial like significance. And I feel like I want to like make a whole series building looks just off this one palette because that's how my AstroBeauty mind thinks. I don't know. I don't know if I'll have time. Oh, and something I wanted to say, I am trying to put, well, I do intend on putting the names of the products and everything that I use in every look into these videos. Honestly, right now, I am like so strapped on time. You have no idea how hard it is for me to even get one of these videos done, and sitting down at a different point in the day to go back and then like type out everything I have. I know it sounds like a very simple task, but for me, because of the way my life is, like I literally cannot sit down and type at a computer without like chaos happening. I'm working on it. I really need to like on some day, if I ever have free time, I need to like make a list of all my products so I can just go through and like copy and paste what I used and put it in there. But I am working on it. I do intend to do that because I do want you guys to know what products I'm using, because they're just so great. I just barely even have time to get these videos done right now. So I'm just like feeling glad when I get them out in time for their moon sign at this point. And yes, I know I do care a lot, and I am. But I just, things have just been, it's been a wild ride the past couple months. So that's just where we're at. For my blush today, I'm going to use this sort of like icy pink from the from 100% Pure. It is fruit pigmented blush in the color Strawberry. I love this company so much. Fruit pigmented products just make me so happy. And the colors are so beautiful, and the pigments are like gorge. And I just like, I don't know what's left to be desired, you know? So I'm going to use some of this, and then I think I'm going to go over the top with this color I have from the All Natural Face called Touch of Peach. And it's just like a really pretty, like, sort of like, I don't know, you'll see in a minute, like neutral, like tan, nude, sparkle, shimmer blush. And that's just what I want to go over it with. But this is really, really beautiful. For my full moon look today, that's not too like girly. It's definitely more Mars, like, where's the battle? Let's go, you know, type of vibe. All right, so now, like I just stated, I'm going to go into my samples. Here it is, touch of peach. Looks like this. Well, I don't know if you can see it. It's like tan, sort of. I didn't know. Also, I lied. I forgot there's one thing left I did want to do to my eyes, and that is go into my liquid fairy lights and from Pixie by Petra. And come on. I want to just put a little bit of silver sparkles over the top of this gray. All right, now I am just going to, I put it in here. You can see it a little better there. And I'm just going to dust it over the top a little bit. I love this color. So yeah, I'm, really anticipating what plays out over this full moon, because the new moon cycle was huge, like the energetics that were in place at the new moon, and obviously like every planet aspecting some way or another, and it all leads back, in my opinion, to like Pluto, Venus, and the black moon, Uranus, and then Mars. The moon's in Aries, so what Mars does is significant too, and he's there making that aspect with Uranus. And I don't know, guys. I don't know. All right. Now I'm going to put a little bit of this. This stuff is like the greatest. But it is colored, so I usually put a little bit on my finger first. And then kind of like dab so that the color comes off, but the glitter stays. And I'm just going to press it on right over the top. I totally should have done this before I did my mascara, but we do what we can. You see? Yeah. So pretty. All right. I may need to get some more. This may be enough. Yeah, I think I need a little bit more. So I just gotta do a lip, and then that basically wraps it up for me for today. I don't even really know. Like, I'm so honestly mind-boggled about this full moon. Perfect. Should I? I should. Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. So, that's basically that. Let me put a lip on real quick. I need, let's see. Yeah, this will work. I'm going to use NYX London today. Actually, do I have Elegant right here? I don't. I'm just going to use this because honestly, I don't feel like running to the back room to get my other pencil right now, my Mineral Fusions pencil. So I'm going to use this in the shade London. And because I want just like a very nude lip today. There's the line, and I'm going to use this color Nudist. These are little mini Bare Minerals lipsticks, and it was like an astrology themed like value pack of them. So, Celestial Magic, they called it. I got to jump on that. How can I not? And Bare Minerals, so. I don't love the formulas, though. They're quite creamy. They're more creamy than I like. I prefer generally a more matte or, like, glossy. I don't really like creamy finish. I don't know. So I'm going to use a little bit of this Angel Wings setting powder from the All Natural Face. And I'm just going to tap it over the top. And then I'm going to put my highlight on. And then we'll be done. And I feel like I've, sufficiently given my alert, warning, heads up, incoming craziness. Oh, I wish it wasn't on a weekend. Why couldn't it have just been on a regular weekday? I feel like that would have reduced the possibility for, I don't know, chaos, people, if it was just like a standard work day. But no, it's got to be on a Saturday, Sunday. So we'll just go with it. And you know what? We just need to trust the plan. Like, the universe clearly has some type of plan. It's clearly trying to support us and help us out. We just need to trust it. I say that like it's easy. Trust me, your girl's been having a hard time with that too. But I know we just need to trust and have faith, okay? Because there's a plan. It's working out somehow. All right, now I'm going to do, as I said I was, just a little bit of highlight out of this Lovestone palette. I'm going to use the citrine color. And I'm just going to do it on my cheeks. I think I'm going to just do the luminizer down my nose and face. Oh, this is quite bright. But it's a full moon. It's a full moon in Aries. So we should brighten things up a little bit. Shine full light of awareness on all things under the surface. That's what Pluto's trying to do for us. Wow, look at that. All right. Now let me bring out this 100% pure Punk Princess palette. This luminizer right here, I absolutely love it. I use it all the time for like my nose and my chin and stuff, and it's just the nicest, most natural like highlight. Love. Well, guys, that's basically it. This is my Moon and Aries makeup for today. I'm going to go ahead and spray my face with this here Pacifica Cherry Matte setting spray. And then do like I usually do and take my little sponge and press it all in. Seal it down real good. There she is. That's that. Moon in Aries, full moon in Aries makeup look for the day, you guys. We have a big weekend coming up with the full moon. I went through every single planet and the aspects that they're making. We just need to power through this. We need to try to stay as self-regulated during this period as possible, because there is going to be a huge expansion of anything that we're feeling with the aspect coming from Jupiter. So we just need to try our best to stay grounded and stay in control of ourselves and stay present in the circumstances and the situations, and know that anything that transpires during this time, Uranus is putting us on the right path, is putting things right. So guys, there's my full moon video for the Moon in Aries Libra cycle October 2018, and here is my makeup for the full moon in Aries Libra cycle October 2018. I am loving it for today. I am totally on my Aries battle chick vibe. So I hope that you guys have a great weekend. I hope that the full moon operates out of its fullest possible manifesting positive frequency spectrum potential for each and every single one of you. And I hope that I see you guys back next time for my Moon in Taurus video, where we will keep talking about astrology and makeup. So until then, you guys, let the force be with you. AstroBeauty out.